Greetings and welcome to One Sparkle Up Church, Spirituality in a Modern World. Thank you for being a part of my congregation. And today's sermon session is Release Bondage, Banish Bonding. It is September 21, 2025. Now, in North America, through the tropical astrology and the German Hebrew numerology, is the number 3. Now, 3 is significant because we live in 3D, third dimension. This is the visual aspect within the human brain as to how to equate life. Now, depending upon what species you are as to what dimension you see. So that means that we see in, say, a sign of a pyramid. You have 3 points. That is your vision in your optical nerve within your human brain. It's science. Not rocket science, but it's man-made concept, man-made product of how you visualize your world. Now, if you are a different species, you may only have 1D in one dimension. So you only see everything one way. It's like you put down salt or whatever, and an ant cannot comprehend how to go around that material simply because it can't see over that material the other side because it has one-dimensional vision. So in science, you only see things 3-dimensional. That's why we live in 3D, third dimension. Not rocket science. It is man-made concept, man-made product. However, if you were an enlightened being, an EB, you could see beyond that. And if you are more developed, then you are an HEB, highly enlightened being. So it depends upon the dimensions in your being that you can comprehend through your third eye chakra. Not rocket science. Now we're stepping into logic. And logic is reality. Now, if you're an AHEB like me, advanced highly enlightened being, you then see beyond 5D, 5th dimension. You then see multiverses and multi-dimensions, which is technically what I've been doing all my life. I've been in many years of training. And in time, when I have my workshops, then I will show you also how to be able to, beyond moving 3D, third dimension. It takes a lot of training. You got people around the world that do this, they just don't know that they're doing it. So in order to advance yourself, you typically go to school. Man-made concept, man-made products called high school, college, etc., etc. But in order to step into the realms of an AHEB, you must do a lot of training, create a lot of education in your own being so that you can learn how to elevate your perception. Now this is I lost my train of thought. Witch's Kitchen Oracle cards. Alright? So I pull the cards and I always ask for permission from the spirit realm. I asked for them to guide me through these moments in time. That's called respect. When you don't respect, Honey, karma is kissing your ass and you're wondering why you're even alive because you're ready to end it now because you created your own karmic debt. Alright? So always ask for permission. Always show respect. So I call upon the spirit realm, and there are only certain spirits that guide you through your life for whatever event's going on. Then when that event is over, that spirit guide goes away, a new one comes into the factor. They're always watching and waiting for you to ask permission for them to come and help you. That's how it works. Everything must be respected. That's called universal law. It's not baby science, rocket science. It is the realms of reality and logic. Okay? So for today, to banish the bonding, we are on a 3-moon cycle. The last 3. Remember, it's 3D, third dimension. So that's why everything comes back in 3s. Now when it comes to karma, now karma comes from the Holy Scriptures. In another realm of existence in earth, and that would be the Kabbalah. Alright? So then, as we see, we have the karmic goddess. Alright? Or, my bad, karmic god. It all revolves around the gods and the goddesses. Alright? So, karmic god is being overshadowed over this reading. So now this way, whoever dishes out the bondage of karmic debt is now being released through banishing their bonding within you. So now for today's reading, we have black pepper. And considering I have vertigo vision right now because it's one of the side effects from the radiation cancer treatment, you get 20 years to life of side effects. So for me right now, I have vertigo vision. So I'm thinking you can see it, but I'm really not sure because I only got one eyeball. The other one's not operating correctly right now. So here we go. To release this bonding with your black pepper is incense for protection, banishing nightmares. Take a pinch of black pepper and charcoal from a fire, grind together using a mortar and pestle. Add a pinch of sea salt. Make sure the mixture is black, not gray. Once mixed, transfer into a fireproof vessel and using the mixture as a base, add a cone of incense on top. When the cone has burnt out, mix the two together. Store in an airtight container or glass bottle. Beware, be warned. Be free from harm. Use peppercorn as a magical charm. Spite of tongue or cursed deed, I'll banish with my pepper seed. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. This is what you say when you do this banishing. So remember, this is for the collective. For today, it's the moon phase of waning. Now tomorrow, it will start the first day of waxing. And that would be September 22nd of 2025. It just depends upon what hemisphere you are doing whatever you're doing in life. And this is North America. That's why it's the tropical astrology in German and Hebrew. This is not you know, the Kabbalah astrology. This is not the astrology of China, not the astrology of the Philippines, not the astrology in, oh, I don't know, Africa or wherever you are residing within Earth's hemisphere. It is only within that particular time frame, that particular time where you reside as to what day you go by. So your first is banishing. Remember, you're releasing the garbage that you collected in yesteryear up to yesterday. So it's your choice if you want to keep it like a comfort zone, because some people like their negative part of life. It's like a security blanket. If they don't have one, they feel lost in life without it. So I'm showing you how to banish that garbage. And so then that was your first card. Your second card is parsley. Now remember, I started doing my first tarot reading when I was 12 years old. I grew up in a esoteric family. So you get to choose what particular avenue in esoteric you choose to follow. And of course, I'm a white witch. There's a difference between white and black witches. A white witch heals. A black witch hurts, so they cast spells. A white witch will typically heal with herbs and whatnot. So, trust me, everything I cook, you're going to be like, holy smack, where you been all my life? Kick that crap out. That bonding had no place in my world. Alright, so we got parsley. Shake for clearing the body of toxins. Water retention, bloating. Take 2 cups of spring or filtered water and pour into a blender. Add 2 cups of chopped fresh parsley into the blender along with 2 cups of freshly cooked nettle leaves and 2 cups of cooked dandelion leaves. Now add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 clove of garlic, and some sprigs of fresh mint. Add some cumin and blend on high. Keep in refrigerator until ready to drink. Parsley is death. Death is not death of a person. Death is death of a situation. Quit going for the negative. You're boring me. And then you repeat. From tombs to plates, I will adorn with a deadly message to forewarn. 'Tis the end when I appear, but mortality is not to fear. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. So you're releasing the bondage, okay? This is what you do when you come to the last 3 days of a waning moon, because you want to release the garbage. Now this is the garbage that you carry internally. Now you've been carrying this internally since the beginning of your time within past lives, because you carry that garbage from past life to this life. So what you're doing is you're banishing all the negative from past lives in this life, where your future life will then be clear when you banish. Alright, so the next one that we have, and I have one finger to move. So it takes an acrobatic act to move with one finger, okay? And I have osteoporosis in my first finger. Well, the bottom line is that where the joint meets, it's not straight, because that's where the cancer was in my head. Remember, this is reflexology. So your fingers are your head. So right here I have osteoporosis, because that's where the cancer was, eating the bone in my head. So until the mess is cleared up and get this garbage out, I get this kind of lovely leftover side effects. So for here, we have basal reconciliation. All right? So remember, you have to reconcile with yourself. After you've released, you've banished the death that's killing you, and you have to now reconcile. All right? Now, this is your stomach tonic. Now remember, your gut is basically your window to different dimensions. It's not just your physical anatomy, a 3D third dimension, okay? So you're reconciling with your internal positive self. So for stomach tonic, for digestive problems, stress, detoxing, pour a liter of filtered water into a clean jug. Add 1/4 cup of freshly washed basil leaves to the water. You can add ginger, lemon, or any fruit or herb of your choice to the tonic. If you want a sweet tonic, add honey. If you wish to sharpen taste, add salt. Now remember, honey is a sedative. It will help you have a deep sleep, okay? And the salt, of course, is for cleansing, and it's always best to use sea salt. We come from the ocean. Why do you think you have certain body parts still remnants in your human body as you've evolved from sea life? We come from the ocean. So sea salt is the best salt you should have. Not man-made concept, man-made product in processed salt. That's disgusting. Now press down all the ingredients to release the flavor and store in the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. Filtered water can be added to dilute. And repeat, a lonely witch will never do. Call up on a friend to share some stew. It's time now for reconciliation. I'll prepare you for the celebration. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be. There it is done. Now you could do all of these at one time, or you can do one at a time, and then you repeat everything I just told you. So you can repeat after each particular ingredient, or you can repeat all at one time in the very end. Now your your next card, the 4th of 5, is onions. Okay? Now for each, you must not just repeat words. You feel this wholeheartedly within your heart, because you are carrying a very heavy burden that needs to be released. And the best method is, when you have been hurt, you cry, cry, cry again. Guess what? Cry some more, and cry some more, till you can't cry anymore. That is the best healing method to get the garbage out now. Alright? And I do this quite frequently because everybody and his brother under the sun and sisters decide they need to send me their energy. So I must then get the garbage out. That's why you cry. Why do you think crying was invented? Hello, wake up, as I'm pointing to my head. Anybody awake upstairs? Alright. Now, for onion, is tears. Well, lo and behold, looky there. What do you know? Now, for recommended recipe, raw. For burns, insects, stings, small cuts. For small burns, take half the onion and apply it to the burn. Hold in place for a few minutes, then wrap a crepe bandage around the area. For strings, Okay, 1 second. Okay, for strings. Remember, I'm got vertigo vision. I got one eyeball, so bear with me. Okay, around the area. For strings and cuts, crush or grate an onion and apply it to the wounds. Now, onion tears. There, dry your tears. My strength will banish any fears. Eyes will sting, you'll start to weep, but onion magic is yours to keep. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. Okay, like I said, you can repeat all at one time or after each individual herb, because they are natural products. These are God's gifts. God, plant was created for God's gift and healing. This is why they are here. Now for the last one, you have dandelion. And dandelion is for wishes. Now remember, you went through banish, death, reconciliation with yourself, and now you're creating tears to release all this bondage. Alright? Now your last one is your dandelion for wishes. Now for a dandelion, you have dandelion coffee. For use as a laxative, increasing urine output, take 15 to 17 dandelion roots and place in the oven for about 30 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius until they are dry and brown. Now boil the roasted roots for 15 minutes in filtered spring water. Strain through a fine mesh strainer. You can add spices of your choice, such as cinnamon. You can also add a little milk and honey. Then, as you are drinking, you repeat. When you wish upon a star, my seeds of dreams will take you far. Upon the air now blow a gust, and focus on belief and trust. This magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. So that's your oracle cards. Now as you're going through this, you're releasing through the fifth chakra. That is the throat chakra. And I'm lucky, I'm a Gemini, it is the throat chakra. I didn't speak much before I got my third different cancer, and that was in my late 50s. And that's when I started doing podcasts and videos and everything else, because I had to get it out of my throat. God keeps sending me back because I have a job to do after 3 different cancers, and that is to inspire the world. Did I choose this job? Of course not. But this is what I must do for my own banishing of yesteryear of garbage in bondage. So to help me with this, I went to the, tomato. I went to the gym store, okay? Now, when you're missing teeth, because you had to get them pulled because the sinus was in making havoc in my face and my sinuses because it was a cancerous tumor, I had to remove my teeth on the top right, all my top right teeth. So everything I say is going to sound a little different. So you say tomato, I say tomato, I say gem, G-E-M, gem, and to make it clarified, a crystal, okay? So just choose your boat that you want to float in. I really don't give a flying fig, okay? So, for the throat chakra is blue, because your throat chakra is blue, alright? Not rocket science, it's logic. So that would be the lapis. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. That's what that is. Now the lapis is blue. This stone is for, now specifically, the lapis lazuli, Lazull. Okay? This stone is for understanding oneself, others, and the higher principles of the universe. Bring acceptance and serenity. Alright? That is your lapis. Okay? Also, lapis is a royal blue with flecks of gold, found in Central Asia, Chile, and Pakistan. This stone promotes self-importance and self-confidence. Well, like I said, I really didn't speak much until my late 50s. And then it was time to release all the garbage. Someone once told me, said, boy, you must have had a lot to say. Trust me, people get lost in my communication because I'm doing not just, 50-some years. I'm doing many lifetimes of information because I've been training for years, all right? That is many lifetimes of training, all right? Also, when I took a class on learning about crystals, I kept, for some odd reason, kept picking up the tiger's eye. Like, why? It's like every other crystal I pick up, well, the tiger's eye. So I got a boatload of them puppies, okay? They are brown and black, found in South Africa and Australia. And this stone will help you identify your addiction and give you willpower to overcome them. You see, we're banishing the garbage. So you want to banish, get the tiger's eye. Now this is healing with crystals. Remember, all the crystals are formulated around your human body in order to release through the chakras. Okay? So also, tiger's eye is focus, alertness, and clarity are the key words of tiger's eye. It is a powerful stone often used to attract, maintain wealth, brings calm and wisdom so we can use power harmoniously. Now remember, when you call upon the spirit realm to help guide you through the realms of existence, your intentions must be clear and clean. If your intentions are not clear and clean, you will then be kissing karmic debt in the ass, and it will then invade your space. So now, when it comes to wealth, I'm 12 years old and I wanted all the knowledge in the world simply because I wanted a Nobel Prize. So I've been working on that all my life, because if you self-publish a book, are you going to get a Nobel Prize? No, you're going to have a minuscule audience. I want a Nobel Prize. So that's going on like over 50 years, wanting a Nobel Prize. So that's why I've been in training to get to that point, because to me, that is the biggest prize of all. So when I want wealth, I want to be the richest, most famous person through knowledge, not a piece of paper of man-made concept, man-made product called money. I want the knowledge. Knowledge is power. So if you want the power, that's where the tiger's eye comes in. Now remember, for anything you do in life, it can be the demise of you when you don't have the cleanest intentions of what it is you plan to do with that power. Well, as I said, God keeps sending me back because I have a job to do to create awareness for all species in existence. And that's through the timeline of different time zones of different lifetimes. And that's why I'm here. And trust me, it's very exhausting. Remember, Geminis play mental gymnastics. It's very exhausting, okay? Now, when you receive that power in metaphysics, you have a choice. Now, you have to understand 5 is balance. So, within 5 points, you have 2 options to see your balance. Now, you may see this as good, or you may see it as bad. That is your choice. A 5-pointed star of David, and a 5-pointed star of a pentagram. It is your choice in which direction you choose your power. And when you combine those together, you get the Orion's belt. Do you understand? You must balance yourself through what it is you see that you want, need, and desire in your existence. You contain much, much more power than you truly understand. Now, I'm a very creative person. I create a lot of books, art, I mean, you name it, anything under the sun. I got about 50 creative projects I'm working on constantly all my life. People have always told me that I'm actually too busy to work. Work just gets in the way of life. I'm busy. You see, I got things to do, place to go, people to see. After my 3rd different cancer, I looked at that doctor when they told me I had cancer, and I said, guess what? I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for cancer. I'm busy. I got places to go, people to see, and things to do. I'm busy. Don't give me this shit. And then, of course, after the radiation, the chemotherapy, cancer treatments, it was gone in 4 weeks. So during that 4 weeks, turned into 4 months of no eating. No water, no solids, no liquids, no nothing. I didn't eat for 4 months. I had to get the garbage out of my body. The cancer and the radiation and the chemo. And that's why I then changed my whole lifestyle. And I created 7 categories of plant-based foods. So I'm busy. I don't have time for cancer. I don't have time for garbage. I'm busy. And then as you see, it got passed down. That creativity. This is my son. He is, I know nothing about the graffiti world. But in the graffiti world, he is called the letterman. So I tell him, okay, one of my businesses is B1 Love LLC. I said, give me an emblem. So he drew that. And we're talking, he just spit that out in about, a minute. He's very, very creative, very, very talented, because you pass it down through your genes. And then some people try, and I give them props for that. Because in my world, the fact that you're trying to create something in your world, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise is what you call the gray. Because in most people's world, black, white, heaven, hell, good, bad, yada, yada, yada. You see what I'm saying? You get your choice in your flavor. Now, if you feel that the world has done you wrong, guess what? Misery loves company. You're going to be dishing it out. Well, you dish it out, you're just going to get more karma. Karmic debt, not karmic credit. So you have your choice. How do you want to see your balance? Do you want to see your balance as a 5-pointed star pointing up? Or do you want to see your 5-pointed star pointing down? That is your choice. And as they say, what goes down, what's up must come down. Well, that's, guess what? 3D, 3rd dimension. man-made concept, man-made product way of thinking. However, if you exist in the spirit realm at the same exact time you live in 3D third dimension, guess what? What goes down must come up. That is the spirit realm, and that is where it will end up going. Because we are all made of dust particles. You choose which direction to live your life. You want to live on an emotional roller coaster? Up and down and up and down and up. Dude, you're just going to get sick. Like riding a roller coaster. Up and down. Right? Sometimes when I'm driving down the road and the music is bumping, I'd be like, yeah, out the window. Let's do this roller coaster. Hip, hip, hooray. Get along, little doggy. Heart smiles and belly laughs. That is the key to creating what goes down must come up. And life is love, love is life. Blessings from Reverend Dr. Lewis. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe and follow. And thank you for your support.